Have you ever made a beat and it just felt like it was missing that spark? Like it sounds good, but it just doesn't sound like what you hear on streaming platforms from popular artists. Well, today I'm going to share with you 5 useful tips that you can use to level up your production. So if you're new, hit the subscribe button down below and let's get started. So the very first tip, which I think is the foundation for any serious music producer, is learning music theory. Now, before you click away, I'm not saying you should learn music theory that you have to become like Mozart. What I'm trying to say is you need to learn some basics, some foundations that will help you make more informed decisions so that you become more consistent with making really good melodies. Now, what you need to learn is real simple. Learn chords, learn scales, and learn how to write melodies within these chords and scales. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to come into the piano roll right here for this plugin. Now, when it comes to choosing a scale, there are 2 major scales I recommend. It could be major scale or minor scale. Now, major scales are typically meant for happy, uplifting, positive vibes, right? While minor scales are meant for dark energy vibes, okay, or heartbreak type vibes. So I'm going to come right here, right click it, and you can see I have a whole list of scales I can choose, but I don't have to worry too much about them. Now, all I have to worry about most times is either major, that is Ionian scale, or I could come to minor, natural, that is the Aeolian scale. But let me use G sharp, okay? So G sharp major. Now, if you look at these light gray lines in here, it's all telling you, oh, these are the notes that are relevant to the scale. A scale is made up of notes, okay? So that's why we have this light gray line. These are the notes that make up the scale of G sharp major, okay? I have my first notes. Now for playing chord, I've seen some tutorials where they will tell you stuff like this, where they'll just tell you paint, 12 notes, and so on and so forth. Now that's a complicated way to play chords. Even for beginners, that could be confusing. So I recommend you just stick to this simple formula, which is 1, 3, 5, and it works for either major or minor scale. If you just click a note that's within the light gray line, click that, then count. This is number 1, this is 2. You skip this dark guy because it's not part of the scale, okay? Then 3, then 4, then 5. And easily you have a chord. Then now how do I create a progression? It's just moving from one chord to the next. I'm going to highlight this and just duplicate this with Ctrl B or Command B. So then easily, if I want to move it up or down to a different chord progression, make sure you activate your scale mode. Now, if also you have this, I don't know about other DAWs, but make sure you activate your snap to scale so that it moves within the context of that G sharp major, okay? When I press shift and up, so let's say I like this progression, right? Now, music theory doesn't stop here, okay? It also means sometimes you may want to play around with these notes. So if I highlight this, I can take it high up, do an inversion. This is an inversion. But now that doesn't change this from being your number 1, okay? This is still your number 1. It will always be your number 1, no matter where you start. This is number 1, number 3, number 5. No matter how you flip them around, this will always be your number 1, okay? So that's important for you to know. Number 1 will always be number 1 wherever you find it. So I can move this up here, move this. Or if I don't want inversion here, I can just repeat the same notes here. This right here is called an extension. Even though I inverted the note basically, but I simply added this right here. It's called an extension. It simply means when you add an extra note on top of your basic triads. 1, 3, 5 is a triad. When you add the extra note, it's called an extension, okay? So that means we'll have 4. And there are other types of extension. We have 7 and 9. So how do I get a 7? So this is again 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. This is a 7th, then 9. That's a 9th, okay? Easily 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Easily, once you understand this basic formula for creating chords, it should be easier for you to create chords that sound good consistently. Now this is just the chord. Let me show you how to easily play good melodies on top of your chord progression. Before we go any further, I want to let you know you can click the link in the description to sign up for our online music production course. It's 100% online, which means you learn at your own pace and you learn the basics up to advanced topics in an organized manner on how to make high quality beats from scratch. So if you're interested, click the link in the description where I'll go over in-depth topics like music theory, arrangement, sound selection, chord progressions, all the whole shebang. They'll make you even a much better producer before you even complete the course. So if you're interested, click the link in the description to sign up. Or you can visit our website, sctutorials.com, to sign up. Now, I recommend most times, especially if you're a beginner, you want to play notes that exist within your chords But if maybe you don't like some of the combinations that you're getting when you try to stick within the notes that make up your chord, you can stick to notes that make up the light gray line, okay? So that you reduce the amount of guessworks you have to do. For example, let me turn off the snap to scale. If I were to play this, to do this, where I move these notes to this darker side, see, it sounds off key, right? Compared to when they were here. Or if maybe you want to again add a little bit of swing, you see that sounds good. Let me also move this sequence. And it's important that your melody has a sequence, okay? Sequence just simply means how it starts and how it ends. When you have a melody that follows a chord progression and has a sequence, most times you're going to get a good melody. Bring this here. I can bring this down. And you can play many more melodies using this simple formula of sticking as much as you can to the main chords, or you can occasionally step out into the other notes that make up the scale and then having an established sequence. Typically, most melodies you're going to play are going to follow this simple formula. For the next tip on how you can step up your production game is be comfortable with using loops and samples. From time, I've been seeing a lot of videos on the internet where they'll say using loops or using melody loops is cheating. But the thing is, with music production, it's a collaborative effort, right? Sometimes you can't think of everything yourself, and loops can help you unlock your creativity, okay? You don't have to depend 100% on it. Even that isn't technically bad, because even the drum packs you have, they are also samples from a real drum. Okay, so we all get the sounds from somewhere. So for this project, I'm going to add samples so that you hear the difference when it's just as MIDI and when I complement it with some samples. So I have these two samples from Splice. Splice is a popular platform you can get samples and loops, okay? So I'm going to click this, but it works the same as almost every other platform. So I'm going to click these two sounds. Now you can add 1, 2, or even multiple sounds. So I'm just going to choose these two and drag it in. Now, I'm going to come in here for the first one, then make sure I match my tempo. It's important you match the tempo so it doesn't go off beat. Then stretch. And when I layer it with this guy. Now, the good thing with samples is that you don't have to use it exactly the way they come, so that you have your own unique spin or twist to it. I feel like that's where most people have problems with loops, is that most people just take it as it is and use it that way without trying to, tweak it, okay? So I'm going to tweak this second sample, come right here, change, I press play. And I can even drop the pitch down. You can have it anywhere in your verse, in your intro, in your hook. If I move it even closer to the hook. You can hear that sounds pretty good, right? So using melody loops and samples can help enhance your production. Now, the third tip I'll recommend to you is still arrangements. Yes, take popular songs that you like or popular songs that are out there, learn and understand their arrangement. Now, the easiest way for you to do this is to simply drag them into your playlist in any software that you use, and then use markers to mark the parts. So if you're not familiar with the structure of the song, like you don't know where the verse or the hook is, you can search up the lyrics, and I'm using Genius. Okay, it's a platform where you can just search up the song and the lyrics will pop up. So you can see the intro and you can match the words to when you hear it to know where to mark, okay? So we know that this part right here is the intro. So I'm going to come right here, press Option T in Mac or Alternate T in Windows, and I'm going to write intro. Then I'm going to count for about 4 bars, and you can see right here, there's a verse that is shared between Tyler and Wizkid, and I'm going to come right here, Option T, verse 1, and then we'll see how long that lasts, and then there's a pre-chorus, okay? That's just after 8 bars. I'm going to press Option T, pre-chorus or pre-hook, basically the same thing. 1, and then where you have verse 2. Okay, so we'll have verse 2. And if you observe, you can see the second verse is much longer, right? Then I can just mark at this point right here, title it end, so I know where the song ends. Okay. Now, this is the layout of the song, and I can use this to arrange my own production. Maybe I already have my drums, melodies, I can lay it out, or I can keep listening to the main song as a reference for the layout and the arrangement. This will help speed up your arrangement process, because arrangement does take a lot of time for a lot of producers, especially producers that are just starting out. You tend to overthink it, but when you have a guide like this, it makes it a lot simpler. Now, the fourth thing you can do to make your beat stand out is using compression on your drums. Now, this is an overlooked hack that I don't know why most producers don't do it. Now, using compression on your drums will make everything sit tighter and even hit harder. So this right here, we have a drum pattern. Now, there's nothing wrong with using the drum as it is, but we can again make it tighter and hit a little bit harder with compression. So I'm going to come right here, link it. This also works whether you have it on your channel rack or as a loop. It works the same. Okay, I'm going to link it right here. Then I'm going to use a compressor. Now you can use the stock compressor in FL Studio, but using an analog model compressor to me just works a little bit better. So when I press play, this is a very easy compressor to use. When I press play, now it's working too hard. You have to be careful so you don't crush your drums, because some people tend to overdo it and their drums lose energy and lose character. So I'm going to relax it so that it's hitting between -3 to -5 dB. Okay, so So after playing with the settings a little bit, what I just did was take it to -3 to -5 dB and adjusted the ratio to be a bit more aggressive on 8 instead of 4. And then I also adjusted the output so that I can hear the levels before and after should be almost the same, so I can actually hear the effects. Now, because the compressor made it louder or more quiet, that doesn't make it better. I recommend you make the compressor to sound the same in terms of loudness before and after, so you can truly hear what's going on. And when I turn it on, you see it's basically the same, but if you notice, you can hear the elements come up a little bit more and the drums sound more controlled. So let's hear it while it's playing. You can even squash a little bit more if you want that character on your drums, but you have to be intentional to make sure that that's what you want and not a mistake. So the next thing I recommend is use weird sounds. Now, using weird sounds can make your melody sound even more interesting and out of the norm, okay? So how do you find weird sounds? You want to use sounds that most people will not think of. I recommend you use maybe ambient, nature sounds, just sounds that are just crazy. So let me type in ambient. Look for sounds that you know that most people would not want to pick. And even you yourself, you may not pick them ordinarily. This will challenge you to refine your taste in sounds. Okay, I think I like this sound. So this is an example of a weird sound. So I'm going to give this a try. Download that, then bring it in here, and then we'll just listen. Now I can select this, make it unique, and then maybe pitch it down a little bit. And easily, we made the production sound a little bit more interesting. So you don't always have to use the most obvious and the most common sounds. You can go for the weird stuff sometimes to make your production stand out, but be careful, do not overuse weird sounds so that your production still sounds a bit relatable, but at the same time, unique. So there you have it, 5 tips that I feel will help you out make your beats sound even more interesting and professional. Let me know which of these tips will you be giving a try first.